rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Well, you know, with the shutdown and everything, there really isn't a heck of a lot going on in the news world. What am I saying? Yes, there is. There's a lot more going on. I just haven't gone and checked into a few of these things in quite some time. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of things that popped here recently. And yeah, so I hear there's some people in my Whiskey Warriors that are being called names, not by me, of course, but by other folks that are out there. Well, guess what? I'm just going to say it. Welcome to the club. I get called all kinds of names all the time. And in fact, nothing recently, thankfully, but yeah. So I get called all kinds of names, especially by certain people that they, as soon as they start losing an argument, you know, that's kind of the thing, is that the minute they lose an argument, they start calling people names. So just take it as a badge of honor. That's about the only thing that you can be, sure of. And just remember, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That isn't believed by the leftist morons, the leftist lunatic morons, though. Anyway, enough said. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight is 3 Chevy. 3 Chevy is up for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance, so if you are of mind, please stand. Remove your hats if you're wearing one, like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with 3 Chevy as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And, of course, I thank you, 3 Chevy, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Then take that audio file, video file, or whatever kind of file it is, and either attach it to an email or share it to me. Send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I, of course, will get you into the rotation. I'm looking for number 20. I have 19 submissions so far. I need number 20. I like 20. That's a nice round number. Even numbers are really nice. So, yeah, go ahead and send it off to me and get it in so you can be number 20 in the rotation. I certainly would appreciate it. All right, tonight, being Thursday, of course, it is the Institute on the Constitution for my headline sponsor. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up. And while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online. And you can get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. And remember, the purchase of said rounded, that's sexy rounded corners, a rounded cornered book will result in liberals calling you names and having gastrointestinal distress. Anyway, the contents of this item cause liberals to fill a cup or two or three or four up with tears. That's right. These are sexy rounded corners. Take a look at this wonderful product. It's an 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. It is stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if something does go wrong with this thing, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested and buddy approved. It is Billy tasted and Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you study for and potentially achieve your civics badge in scouting, as well as maybe even pass your civics exam. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online and go and get yours today, and also check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offerings, as they have a fantastic collection of all kinds of pertinent information about the wonderful country that we call home. And I thank them for allowing me to be a brand affiliate. And yes, Bonnie, I do love all of you. I love all of you. But anyway, so yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because seriously, I mean, again, I had this conversation with Stephen Stiles. You may not remember him, but I had him on, a long time ago with regards to a hockey thing. We did a little bit of a hockey episode, and yeah, so there we go. But anyway, yeah, without all of you guys, I would just be talking into an echo chamber, which really is not that fun. To listen to yourself speak to yourself without any interaction from others is well, I mean, granted, I do it a lot. Most of the time I'm talking to my animals. But let's face it, if it weren't for you, I would not be here. Let's just put it that way. All right. Well, yeah, drill, baby, drill. We kind of missed some of that from Buddy. Rest his weary soul. Hopefully he's resting in peace, looking down upon us from heaven. And yeah. Anyway, well, obviously this White House, I got to tell you, this particular administration and this White House seems to, and it's not just Donald Trump. I mean, it's everybody in the administration seems to have embraced a trolling caricature. Now, I mean, it used to be that, the White House would just sort of be quiet whenever they would get criticized, maybe answer questions or whatever. But oh my gosh, all I got to say is this White House is certainly entertaining. You cannot go a day without being entertained from this White House. And because of the fact that Chuck Schumer, yeah, good old Chuckles, has shut the government down over the idea of adding illegal alien health care and refunding National Public Radio, and the way they want to take away rural health care funds. Yeah. Right. All of this they wanted to do to the cost of the American taxpayer of $1.5 trillion. And yeah, nobody wants this, but we also don't want a spending increase. We don't necessarily want the government shut down. What am I saying? Yes, I do. I want the government completely shut down. I want it smaller. I want it shut down and cut down into its constitutional boundaries. Anyway, all of that being said, the Democrats, and in particular Chuckles, the clown, Schumer, went ahead and have continually are standing and, basically blocking government funding. And of course, they sit there and they say to everybody, it's like, this is not ours. This is not because of us. This is because of Trump. Trump doesn't want to fund healthcare. Healthcare has been funded, even though I keep saying, and I still have yet to have anybody. And in fact, there was even an account on Facebook that I posted that comment to, and they tried to justify the spending under the quote unquote general welfare. Yeah, well, I might have something on that here in the future. I'm going to be digging into that even deeper than what I already know with regards to general welfare. But, the thing you've got to remember, folks, is that Congress does not have a carte blanche spending and being able to just create any kind of law anywhere they want to do anything. The founders did not want that. The founders basically believed, the Federalists believed in a very small, limited federal government. And so that is what I keep saying is like, hey, you can't tell me that healthcare is a part of this. And even though this particular account pulled up some court cases that have basically been done in the Supreme Court over this, I've already told you, like I've told many other people, court cases are opinions, and they can be overturned when new facts, new evidence, new everything, or new interpretations are brought into play. Because the reality of the situation is the federal government is supposed to only be given enumerated powers. Those enumerated powers demonstrate themselves in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Now, this particular account attempted to say that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 states that general welfare in that clause means that the federal government can just make up whatever law they want, which is not true, because that very first clause refers to the power of laying and collecting taxes in order to, and this is the key, in order to defend the country and provide for the general welfare. It does not say that, hey, you can collect whatever taxes you want and create whatever law you want, and you can create, healthcare out of nothing or whatever else. Again, I'm just pointing out, misinterpretation has happened so often, especially in modern history, which includes the creation of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, etc., ACA, the Affordable Care Act, all of that stuff. If you were to ask the original founders if the federal government should have anything to do with any of that, I would bet to a man, every single one of them would say that's not part of the federal government's responsibility. Doesn't matter whether it was Alexander Hamilton or whether it was James Madison or any of the others. I can almost certainly guarantee you every single one of them would say, that's not part of our job. That's not part of the federal government's job. That isn't the whole point. That's what accounts like this particular account trying to tell me this totally miss. They miss this. So anyway, I will address that a little bit more, I'm imagining, because I'm starting to gather the information even more succinctly for this. All right, all of that said, Chucky, Charles the Clown, well, he's got, Here's an example of the White House. Oh, the White House, yes. Our wonderful trolling White House. Yeah. And let me give you, I'm sorry, I'm working on it. So there we go. There's Chuckles. Oh, there's Chuckles right there. He's in what appears to be a hot dog suit. Oh my gosh. And this came from the White House account on X, by the way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, right. Even CNN, by the way, asked Chuckles about it, about the shutdown. And, well, let's just say it didn't quite go as well as Chucky would want it to go. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Every Republican who's gone on TV the last 12 hours or so has called this the Schumer shutdown. What do you say about that name? Senator Schumer, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Senator Schumer, can you hear me? I don't think Senator Schumer can hear me right now. Maybe the government shutdown included audio on Capitol Hill.
Oh, yeah. Maybe the shutdown also included, Senator Schumer's hearing aids. He lost the batteries in his hearing aids. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Well, Carolyn Levitt, she jumped in on it, too. You can take a look at this. Oh, this is on X. It's like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on government shutdown, and he's holding up 2 thumbs up. He's like, yep. Well, there we go. Yeah. It's the invention of the internet and the invention of social media, while it does have its drawbacks, it also has its positives in terms of all of this. And by the way, we'll get to good old Hakeem Jeffries on all of this. But here's Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings threw this on here. Oh, this is an interesting one. That's dialing of a phone, by the way.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line. Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ah, yeah. So even the White House. Oh, again, all these people. Yep. Wow. So, anyway. Oh, brother. All right. Well, they took a target, by the way, and they put it on Hakeem Jeffries. That's right. Hakeem Jeffries was out there. And, they put something up with the White House. The White House put up a meme. This is in regards to a video. This was a little while ago. But anyway, I didn't catch this at first, but yeah, let's take a closer look at this thing here.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
See, now this is the kind of stuff I'm just going to say. I keep in mind, I don't watch like Jimmy Kimmel or any of them. But this is the kind of stuff that they should be showing. Jimmy Kimmel should not be on the stage. They should just show this. People will have a blast with this. This kind of stuff is absolutely freaking hilarious. And it doesn't seem to stop there, but apparently, well, Hakeem Jeffries kind of got upset about this. But first of all, let's see what this one is. I didn't play
it's a
this
disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Oh, my gosh. You know, our country, our culture has just gone so far away from being able to do comedian crap like this. I mean, this is just, yeah, whatever. Anyway, with AI, this is going to make it this makes it even easier. But anyway, they apparently just about everybody in the Democrat Party went on CNN and MSNBC or MSLSD, to go ahead and do this. And they, of course, were whining about it. And in fact, here, this is, I don't even know, because I didn't even watch all these videos. So let's just see what this video has.
The leader of the Democrats in the House, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York. Thanks for being with me, Leader Jeffries. So you maintain Democrats are ready to come to the table anytime with anyone at any place on any spending agreement. Vice President J.D. Vance today said the president's open to coming to the table on health care once the government is funded. Where are we at negotiations right now?
Well, we haven't heard from the White House since the White House meeting on Monday. President has been behaving, somewhat erratically in an unconventional fashion in the context of the government shutting down. Clearly, they wanted to shut the government down. Unfortunately, we're ready to work together to bring it back open, but to do it in a way where we enact a spending agreement that's bipartisan, that meets the needs of the American people, while at the same time addresses the Republican health care crisis.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to point this out, all right? Number one, the Democrats are trying to tie this healthcare thing to this funding. There's no reason to. The money or the bills that are on there they don't run out until the end of the year. I can't think of the proper term for it, but these things that they're whining about, they don't end until the end of the year. They could pass the CR to keep the government open and then argue all of this, which is exactly what Jake Tapper was saying the president wants to do. He's like, hey, just pass the CR and then we'll talk about the healthcare piece. These Democrats are trying to tie two things together and conflate the issue such that making it so that they're attempting to make it to where people, the American people, get pissed off about all this. And it's not working because the American people understand that the Democrats, Chuck Schumer in particular, and the Senate Democrats, because the House has already passed it, it's the Senate Democrats. This is where the problem comes into play. See, the Senate is what's holding all of this up. These House Democrats, they had no other choice. It was just a simple majority was all that was needed to pass the CR. But in the Senate, that isn't the case. In the Senate, they need what is considered to be a filibuster-proof majority, which is a 60 votes in the Senate. They're at 55. So this is the key. This is the Senate. And that's why it's called the Charles Schumer or the Chuck Schumer shutdown. That's why it's called it. And they sit here and they're talking over and over and over about all this healthcare stuff. Folks, again, the healthcare subsidies don't expire until the end of the year. They've got at least another month to discuss that. They've got at least another month to go through that. There's no reason to tie the ending of these subsidies the ending of those to this, to the CR. There is no reason to tie them together. And yet that's exactly what these guys are attempting to do. Now, Hakeem, of course, complaining about the memes here.
Said erratic, and I believe you used the word unhinged the other day.
I did.
Are you trying to draw a line between President Trump's acuity, his mental state, and what's going on here with the shutdown?
No. I'm actually referring to some of his social media posts, which didn't seem to make a lot of sense.
The sombrero and the mustache?
Correct. Well, it would seem to me that as the President of the United States, on the brink of a government shutdown, if you actually wanted to bring everyone together to try to get to a resolution in a common sense, bipartisan way, that's not the type of behavior that we would see.
You're right. You are absolutely right, Hakeem. The president doesn't want your quote-unquote bipartisan resolution, because your bipartisan resolution isn't bipartisan, and it's not a resolution. See, you jackarses, which, you know, it's fitting that the Democrat Party's logo is a jackass. But this kind of scenario, you need to understand here, Hakeem, that you've got plenty of time to talk about that, about the removing of those subsidies down the road. This is not the time. And by the way, folks, when they talk about a government shutdown, all it is just shutting down the what would essentially be non-essential items. You know? Yeah. So anyway, so what did they get a little push back on? You know, the White House did after getting pushed back. Take a look at this. This is in the White House press briefing room. They're playing they're playing it over and over and over again on loop. Yeah. So, yep, there it is. Anyway, here's another representative who's just melting down over this, what is essentially a troll or a joke.
That's right. And then what does that shameful man do? After a meeting where you're supposed to be working out details, where you're supposed to be negotiating a deal, you post something that draws a sombrero and a mustache on the leader with whom you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, you have to have a position to where the two of you can come to some sort of consensus. The Democrats didn't even say, hey, we can negotiate this. No, they immediately, after the negotiations, because keep in mind, this has been going on, these negotiations, quote unquote, have been going on for like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of this. I mean, it's not like we didn't already know September 30th was the shutdown. So all of these negotiations have been going on in Congress. And the fact of the matter is, and the reality of the matter is that, one, none of this is tied to this continuing resolution to keep government funded. That's the first thing. But the second thing is the Democrats are trying to roll back things that the administration, the White House, has already said, yeah, we took those away. This was part of the reason why we got hired to do the job. And yet, what are they doing? They're still trying to hold their own with this. Well, I honestly think that the American people, the smart American people, are going to see through all of this, and they're going to realize that, you know, again, that this is just grandstanding, performative BS coming from the Democrats, just like it always is. And they need to realize, meaning the Democrats need to realize, that this is not your typical, administration here. And potentially what might have happened is that, maybe this is exactly where the administration wanted to go. Because you need to understand that when you're in a government shutdown, there's new rules in effect. There's new rules in effect that allow the administration to do things that they normally otherwise wouldn't be able to do. I've got that in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about this wonderful thing. I have an elixir that I put in my cup every I have an elixir that I put in my cup every morning to get me going because I need it. I roll out of bed, and there's some mornings I roll out of bed and I'm just like, oh, another day. Yeah. So I put it in my 16-ounce cup that says "Father like no other" on it from my kids, my loving children. They are absolutely wonderful, both of them. Well, if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, yes, that's what I'm talking about, is coffee. Now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. There's a small, limited number of kits available for you. In each kit, you're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You'll also get to try the smooth medium roast, as well as the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All of these are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, as a part of the kit, you'll also get my personal favorite, the Gold Spoon Clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll also receive a frother that's strong enough to not only stir up your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's opinions. And I'm sure she has a lot, if she's anything like mine was. Anyway, you'll also receive a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 coffee blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to, here's the numbers, 1775, the word coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com/studio. And for those that don't know, that / is your question mark key on your keyboard. 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit today. All right. So just to address something really quick, 3 Chevy, very observant Whiskey Warrior. I'm just going to tell you right now, he's a very long time Whiskey Warrior P1, very observant. Yes, the video that I'm using for my background does loop, but the entire video, just for your own edification, actually is about 3 hours. So it might loop every, however long you say, which I think you said it loops about every 12 seconds. I actually think it may not be 12 seconds. It might be a little bit longer, but anyway, it does that for 3 hours. So there you go. Anyway, all right, well, so as I was saying, it's entirely possible that the Trump administration completely planned for this, because now they've got some certain powers and things that they can do. One of them is to start slashing government into pieces. So Donald Trump is going to meet with the Office of Management and Budget today. He was going to sit down and determine what federal agencies will face funding cuts amid the ongoing Democrat-engineered government shutdown. So Trump said this in a post on Truth Social, and he emphasized that the Democrat obstruction on Capitol Hill has given him an unprecedented opportunity to unilaterally cut wasteful spending. He posted, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, and he of Project 2025 fame, which, by the way, just for those of you that don't know, Project 2025 was a think tank consistently generated all the way back to the Ronald Reagan era. We're talking about into the 80s. This think tank has produced recommendations for every single presidency since then. Project 2025 is not some kind of, Nazi organization or anything else. It is a conservative think tank that has provided recommendations along conservative lines. It's no different than the think tanks of the left that put together these things as well. So anyway, Russ Vought of Project 2025 fame is meeting with Donald Trump to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. He wrote this on Thursday morning. He continued and said, quote, "I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people. So maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again." Senate Democrats, of course, have blocked several attempts to bring the Republican-backed CR, 19-page CR, stopgap funding measure to the floor, and obviously have caused the government funding to lapse starting the 2026 fiscal year. So, yeah. Oh, so the Trump White House has already begun to halt federal funding of a number of programs, along with furloughing non-essential government workers. On Wednesday, Vought announced that the administration would cancel $8 billion in green agenda projects across 16 states in light of the ongoing government shutdown. There was an additional $18 billion in infrastructure funding for New York City that was also paused as the ongoing shutdown is preventing the U.S. Department of Transportation from completing a review of the projects to ensure they're in compliance with Trump's executive order barring the federal funding of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. So, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to this, but I got to tell you, folks, the 10th Amendment, ooh, man. I'm saying that is probably the best thing that could happen in this administration is that Congress gets sued under the 10th Amendment. Not just this Congress, but like all the Congresses way back. Just take it all the way back. Sue under the 10th Amendment. Let's get clarification, total clarification on what the 10th Amendment actually means. Let's get total clarification on the fact that the Congress cannot unilaterally just create a law because it wants to, regardless of whether it is a thought to be a general welfare kind of thing. The Constitution is a framework. The framework basically states that, hey, Congress, you have under Article 1, Section 8, these things that you can do. If you want to change that, and I'm telling you, the legal way or the proper way, if you really want the federal government to be spending healthcare or creating a healthcare system, if you want universal basic healthcare, seriously, if you want that, there is a process that you can go through. It's called the Article 5 amendment process. That's where you would make these changes. That's where you would create ways for the federal government to take on more than what it was originally designed for, which is essentially, it was designed for protection and administration of things outside of the borders, along with the interaction of the states between each other. That's what the federal government was for. That's it. Very, very small. That's it. And if you really want that to be changed, then go through the Article 5 process. Go through it. I guarantee you it's only happened 27 times, of which 10, actually, I should rephrase that. It's only happened 18 times because the first 10 were all ratified at the exact same time. And there's 17 after that. 13th, 14th, and 15th were actually ratified very close together as well. So go ahead. If you want the federal government to have that responsibility, do it properly. Go through the Article 5 process. That's how you do it. Anyway, well, if you've lost your trust in the American mainstream media, like I have, let me just let you know right now, you're not alone. You are definitely not alone. And in fact, our numbers of mistrust in the American mainstream media are growing by leaps and bounds every single year, especially now. There's a new Gallup poll that's out stating that trust in the media is at a new low of 28% in the U.S. The Republicans' confidence, and keep in mind, I'm not a Republican, I'm a strict constitutionalist. Okay, and by that, I literally mean what the Constitution literally means, not this nebulous, oh, we're not too sure. No, what was written in the Federalist Papers as explanations, that's what you go by. What was written in the Anti-Federalist Papers as explanations for what they wanted to do, that's what you go by. Pretty much, that's it. But anyway, Republicans' confidence in the mass media to report proper news fully, accurately, and fairly is now at 8%. The lowest that it's been ever. So, yeah, here's an example. I mean, here's a graph of it. Seriously. Here's the graph. Let me go ahead and get, there's the graph right there. You can see you have the great deal percentage, fair amount, that's in the green. You can see how it's dropping. Here, let me move my head a little bit. It goes down to 28%. It's the lowest it's been since 1972. You have the percentage of not very much. Well, that's kind of been bouncing between, basically 30 and 40 ever since the 2000s. It's been a little higher, a little lower, and the percentage of having none at all, well, take a look at that blue line, man. That's been going up. It almost reached a peak of like 40. It hit 39% back in 2023. And you're sitting here and you're like, you're wondering why. Why is all this? Well, that's because, and by the way, this is how much trust and confidence do you have in the mass media, such as newspapers, TV, and radio, when it comes to reporting the news fully, accurately, and fairly. You wonder why people don't want to listen to the outlets like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC, any of those. Well, this is why, because we can't trust them anymore. They've been outed. They've been demonstrated to be completely biased now. Media trust, by the way, according to this, is record lows among all party groups. So for an example, the Republicans' confidence, which hasn't risen above 21% since 2015, gee, I wonder why, but has now dropped to single digits, 8%. Like I said, first time in the trend. Independents themselves, now you would think, okay, partisan, you could kind of see, Republicans would think that everything is partisan, and so, they would think that it's bad. And Democrats, of course, the other way, they would think that, this is good, expressing trust in the media. No, Well, independence trust has not reached the majority level since 2003. So even independents are very well aware of the fact that, yeah, we can't trust the mainstream media. The latest trend, or the latest reading, is 27% in independents, and that matches last year's historical low. Democrats, of course, because the mainstream media is slanted to the left, they believe that 51% express trust, but that's still only 51%. And that's a repeat, by the way, of the lowest that was previously seen in 2016. There's a little graph demonstrating that. Take a look at all that. Ugh, goodness. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about this, of course, is that the media's confidence remains higher among older adults. There's a generational divide, and it probably has something to do with the fact that, us older people, I'm counting myself in there as well, us older people are used to, because of we were before the internet. We were before social media. We were before independent media. When we got our sources of information, things like, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, ABC, NBC, CBS, these were all the only places that we could gain news and information, along with our local stations that would carry these affiliates. And so we still, in terms of the older adults, we still kind of have that, and then still hearkening back to those days. Okay? But the thing about it is that even that is starting to fade a little bit. And you can see that here in this graph, which is showing the trust of the mainstream media. If you look at this group, the older, 65 plus is the highest. But even that you can kind of see is trending downward. 50 to 64, kind of where I fit. That's really going down in the latest years. 30 to 49 is dropping a lot in the latest years. And 18 to 29, yeah, that's getting down there as well. So this seems to be a generational thing, of course, as it should be. Because, again, we don't have, when you're a younger person, you don't necessarily have the, that trust in that anymore, because you now are open, as a younger individual, you're now open to more unconventional methods of getting information. So, but all of that being the case, if you break this down in the partisan trust in media broken down by age, meaning party and age, let me scoot this down just a little bit more here. There, you can see if you're a Democrat, yeah, you really trust the media. Doesn't matter what age group, you are really trusting the media. Independents, of course, are somewhere in the middle across all age groups. And if you're a Republican, which, by the way, that means that you are a common sense, intelligent thinker and are more than likely to have a great head on your shoulders for this. But the Republicans are the ones that don't believe in the mainstream media anymore. They are the least across all ages. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why I call the Democrats morons. And that would be why. They believe anything and everything that is consumed or consumable in front of them without checking any facts or doing any cross-checking or verification or anything else. Fewer than 3 in 10 Americans, basically, are now placing trust in newspapers, television, and radio to report the news fully, fairly, and accurately. The decline is evident across all the groups, even though Republicans' confidence is now in the single digits where it should be. So, yeah. Anyway, while the independents remain largely skeptical, Democrats, who have traditionally been more positive to the media, now register only a slim majority. Even Democrats are starting to wake up and realize, hey, man, we've been kind of duped here. Oh, my goodness, we've been kind of duped. Well, speaking of being duped, that's right. Speaking of being duped, you remember that Maryland man who was deported to El Salvador? I mean, the mainstream media started off like, oh, yeah, he's a Maryland man. He got deported by ICE and mistakenly deported by ICE. They kind of put it out there, sort of inferring, but not actually saying that he was an American citizen. And he wasn't. And they went ahead and they put together this idea that, oh, yeah, okay, well, he needs to, he's the Maryland man, and he was a father, and he was here illegally, yeah, but he was under a non-deportation order. You know, you're not supposed to deport him to El Salvador. And he'd been here for like 3 years under that order because the Biden administration just chose to ignore it. Well, he ended up getting deported by the Trump administration. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I think the Trump administration that was like a self-inflicted wound. Okay? That was a self-inflicted wound. I mean, the guy is not a wonderful father. He is not a upstanding citizen. The man, we come to find out as we dig into his background and everything, we find out that he was accused of human trafficking in Tennessee. He was an MS-13 gang member. Even at his initial immigration hearings, this came out about him. He was, under the deportation order, which he should have been gone a long time ago, but he basically said, well, if I end up going back to El Salvador, yeah, I'm going to be attacked by rival gangs, meaning that he was in the gang. Okay? And, yeah, there was just a lot of things that came out about this guy. And, of course, this is all about the news and, the Democrats. Well, apparently, according to Just the News, he has now been denied a emergency motion to reopen the case, which was filed back in August. And that has been denied by an immigration judge just yesterday. In the order filed yesterday, Regional Deputy Chief Immigration Judge Philip Taylor said that Abrego Garcia's motion to reopen his motion to seek asylum is untimely because the motion was filed nearly 6 years after his immigration proceedings. Again, they're trying to bend or break the rules for this. They're attempting to bend or break the rules for this. So, yeah. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, of course, responded to this ruling and said, well, with today's rulings, that means that this guy's final order of removal stands. He was a domestic abuser. He was a child predator, according to them. MS-13 gang member, human trafficker. Yeah. His lawyers kept trying to fight removal from the U.S. Yep. But he's gone. Hopefully. He's going to be gone. There's nothing really stating when he is going to leave, but I'm hoping that with this puts the final nail in the coffin, and he just needs to go away. Yeah. Go away. But he's out of here. Well, speaking of mainstream media and finding out about somebody's history, remember that guy I told you about last night? I told you about, I think it was on Saturday. I told you about this guy, the Iowa educator. Well, apparently, not only did he lie about being able to work in the United States, he didn't have permission. He was an illegal alien. He also lied and was able to obtain and maintain voter eligibility in Maryland. I told you about that last night. Well, now we've got even more information. Apparently, he's been telling people that he received his PhD from a let's see, where was it that he said he obtained his PhD from a college. I think it was Monroe College is where he said that he got his PhD from. And it turns out, according to the Des Moines Register, they confirmed on Tuesday that his claim that he received this degree from the Morgan State University in Baltimore was actually wrong. Now, he did apparently receive an educational doctorate degree from an online university back in 2021. But, yeah, he lied that his doctorate was from Morgan State University. The university spokesman or spokesperson spoke with the Des Moines Register on Monday and said that the man had attended their school from fall of 2002 through spring of 2007, but hadn't obtained a degree from the school. Yeah. Now, there's also some other things, like some of the nuances inside of his record are sort of questionable. So, for an example, the reliable evidence that could be obtained points to Guyana as his birthplace, where he was schooled until the early 1990s. Yet in interviews, he seems to have claimed that he was born and raised in Brooklyn. Yeah. As the child of a single mother. Now, that contradicts his own statement that she immigrated only in the 2000s, by which time he was already in his 30s. Now, apparently, his age is even shifting, because legal records say he was born in 1970, while he himself has given dates between 1973 to 1978. Now, apparently, the most notable aspects of his background that he tells people appear to be true. So, a retired police commissioner in Guyana confirmed that the man graduated from officer training and actually joined the country's police force. He was actually a standout runner in college in the United States and did represent Guyana in the 2000 Sydney Olympics. But once you start going in and looking at some of his degrees, his awards, and his academic achievements, yeah, the truth is not quite what he says it is. Supposedly, he's been married since 2017, but he was also apparently divorced this same person, and it divorced them back in 2006, a different woman. His current wife originally hailed from Arkansas, now lives in Texas, but yet there's no records of him actually being domiciled in either state. Somewhere along the line, he managed to obtain a Social Security number. I thought this stuff wasn't happening here, folks. I was under the impression, because, you know, the Democrats, they're so honest and truthful. If you don't get the fact that I'm being very sarcastic there, yeah, you need to go. But apparently this stuff never happens. There's no way that an illegal alien can get a social security number. There's no way an illegal alien can gain registration to vote under current laws. There's no way that an illegal alien can get a commercial driver's license. Yeah, sure. There's no way that an illegal alien, etc., etc., etc. Oh, folks. Gosh, this guy, I'm telling you. Horrible, horrible situation. Anyway. He also apparently has a protective order lodged against him somewhere. He has baby mamas in several states, reportedly. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I thought these guys really are supposed to be upstanding citizens. Democrats. You always put your eggs in the wrong damn basket. All right, folks. Oh, yeah, no way they can get Medicaid, Medicare, but yet you're asking for it. Anyway, all right, folks, that's it for me for this evening. Wow, the hour went by fast. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs ups or thumbs downs, or in the case of 3 Chevy, the thumb sideways, across all my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night. It's Friday, end of the week. Tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.